Hi, this is Kim Pinkney and welcome to my channel. Alrighty, so we shall continue with our monster that we left off yesterday. So let's go ahead and hop right onto her. And I think she looks bland. So I went on a search and started doing more searches for different insects, different like disturbing creatures that are, in our world. So I'm going to pull up my source images that I had found with these different monsters. And I'm going to do like an amalgam. Like right now she looks kind of typical. I think her nose is too small too, but that's just me. For what I want to do. And I think it's too human looking. I need to make it more otherworldly. So I want it to be more, I want to be like maybe 30% human looking or humanoid looking. And then maybe the rest of it 70% monster, something completely off the wall, something I've never seen before, and still just like ugly, painful looking. The thing of nightmares is what we're aiming for. So let's see, how about, I was looking at different monster mouths, since that's where we pretty much left off on this particular monster. And I gotta clear a couple screens here. Let me see, we'll delete this one. That's not a monster, I was helping someone. Okay, one thing that I found that was like hellified disturbing was a monster within a monster. So, like, this messes with me. That is effing weird. So I'm wondering if I want to either save this for another, like maybe the monster inside of, like if I want to save this for like further on when I've got two people and then one of them's about to get eaten. I'm trying to decide, but that's not a bad idea. It's different. It's definitely different. So you got two sides to people. Maybe you got your even three. With the psyche, you've got your ego, which is yourself. You've got the super ego, which is like your morality, all the things that are acceptable in society. And then you've got the id, which is just like straight up, absolutely batshit crazy, do whatever you want, chaos. And I'm wondering if maybe this could be the id and the ego could be somewhere else. So maybe it could justify having another monster in the mouth. And if that is the case, we need a bigger mouth. So let's see. I'm going to take the selection tool, make sure I'm on the right layer. Yep. And then I'll select that. And I'm going to make the mouth come up just a little bit more. We'll warp it. There we go. It's not warping the area that I want. Let's see. Let's do this. Oops. The selection disappeared. That's not a problem. Now she almost looks like, what is that thing called? The Grinch? Why not? Let's keep the Grinchy look. Okay, so I'm going to merge these two layers together. 3 while I'm bullshitting. No, we'll just do the 2 so far. I'll go ahead and merge those guys together. And then other things that I saw that were kind of disturbing, besides having a monster within a monster, was like a lamprey's mouth. This is the mouth of a leatherback turtle. Now this looks awesome. Like this little area right here and right here could be the eyes. And then we could have the monster within a monster here, or even people. So like she maybe isn't the first one of the night. So I think I'll do something similar to this. Let me go ahead and move that over and we'll have some fun. Okay, so I'm going to erase a little bit here. Make the mouth pretty big. Now, it's all fun and games. Ooh, we'll even keep the kind of beak-like structure in the front here, eagle type thing. And we'll open this up. We'll take it all the way to the cheekbones. Okay, and then let's see, we'll start on the bottom of the jaw. Now we're gonna have rows of these like fang-like things here, or fang-like spikes. So I think the inner portion, we'll do that one. I want to make sure I have enough layers going forward. So let me go ahead and merge some stuff together. This one can merge with this one. And we'll just leave it where it is. We'll merge that. We'll merge that. We'll keep the hair separate just in case. I don't want to erase that unnecessarily. See, we'll turn this off. And I can bring this up here. Okay, so I only have a limit of max 16 layers, so I have to be very strategic on how I do these things. So I plan on doing at least 3 layers. Let's see, we'll do it above. Oops. Okay, so this will be the inner. And let's see, we'll do some selections. And we'll make it kind of look like it's a, what's the word? Almost like a jail cell. And we'll just go ahead and close that up there. And we will fill that with a texture. Let's see, we'll use some of the textures we created. I should create one that's just like monster textures. Now when you make a selection like this, you have like a hard edge. And I'll just leave that there. And it can't hurt to make it brighter. So let's see, we'll up the brightness on it. Okay, and we'll just select this again, and then we'll just kind of give it, do I want to put a shadow behind it? I don't want to make it too difficult to see. So, but we'll do that. We'll put a shadow behind. We'll drop that. We'll use that. We'll just make it a little darker so that anything above we'll be able to see. So everything that is in front of us will be bright. And we'll toss that down here, and then we'll kind of merge that in with number 10. Okay, let's see. I think I want it more spiky. Let me clear this. Okay, let's see. We'll do like kind of like stalactites and stalagmites. See, stalactites are holding tight to the roof, and I want a rough looking texture, so I'm going to use something that's not smooth. Let's see, we'll use one of the other drawing brushes. I don't think I've ever used Evolve. Let's see what Evolve gives us. And we'll bring it down a bit. That's kind of icky. We'll just kind of vary it. And then we'll select it and fill it. We'll do every other. And we'll fill it with, let's see what this Morilla does. Just want to experiment with different brushes here. Not bad. Let's see what Copperhead can give us. We'll make that a little smaller. This brush is pretty jagged. And then we'll throw some light. Now I want it to look kind of fleshy. So I'm going to switch my brush to, let's see, zombie skin. Just go over that whole thing there. And then I want to throw maybe some watery texture onto it. Let's see. Oops. Drop that down. And then we'll just have some things coming off of it. Now I'm going to take these little droplets and I'm going to liquefy them. Can't hurt to liquefy everything. And just kind of change it and do different little things. We'll throw some crystals in there. I'll bring it down some so we can just kind of focus. And push. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to take this layer, I'm going to duplicate it, I'm going to flip it vertically, and even, oops, and rotate it. It's like you're seeing into the mouth of hell type of thing. And I think what I'll do is I'll set this up so that I'm going to warp it a little bit. So keep this as the inner mouth. Let's see, we'll have some of this come this way and then some of it come inward. Now I'm kind of torn if I want to, let me see, have them connect. Let's see. And then we'll use that smudge tool and we'll use a different brush. Let's see, something with texture. We'll use the zombie skin. And I'm going to kind of merge this together. And just kind of smooth. And we'll give it like a wet look if we can. Now, some of the places where you see the white, I'm going to take, you know, where I did the little droplets and stuff. I'm going to take a darker tone and I'm going to emphasize those little areas. Let's see, we'll select, and I want to kind of make them look raised. I'm going to hit add. And just want to kind of give it like this veiny look. Let's see, we'll use white first. I don't want to use that brush. Let's try that one. And then we'll come back with black. Throw a little bit of white on it. I want it to look kind of random. Let's try this. Give it that, make it look kind of wet inside here. And then we'll make that black, and then just kind of give it a little something here, and then we can liquefy it. And I'm going to use the push. Just want this mouth to be something that you really don't want to be in. There we go. And make this kind of like gums. Just have these tones follow. And give it like a ridge. By tapping upwards and then kind of doing a zigzag motion, it kind of gives it a bit of a ridge. There we go. Make it a little darker. Just kind of smudge it. So that's kind of icky all by itself. And that'll be beneath. So we'll move that. Do I want to move that down? Yeah, it doesn't look too bad there. We'll do like an over mouth. We'll do that last. Okay, so the next thing is we'll do the next inner portion. I'm going to merge this down. And we'll do like the outer area, like right here. So let's see. We'll use let's see, and these things, they kind of vary. mostly straight. I don't like how fat that one is. Okay, let's try it again. We should give it some gums as well. Let's see what water bleed does. Ooh, pretty. Okay. We'll give it some gums here. We'll drop that. And we'll give it, oops, it's on a different, this should have been on a different layer. Let's see. Okay, let's go back a little bit. There we go. And then we'll fill it. Kind of like that water bleed. Let's see. Make these white. Okay, and then I'm going to take a little bit of black. Oops. Let me bring that down, so I'm just going to change the brush a little bit. And try to give a little bit of roundness and definition to the teeth here. Okay, and since it's on its own layer, I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to grab it, use the freeform, and just kind of do this sort of thing. Just give us a little bit more. We'll warp it a bit. Just to give it some variance. Yeah, one-shot monsters you can get away with just going for broke. And then I'll duplicate that. And then flip that one horizontal so I can get the other side. See, we'll make it look a little smaller. We'll just give it a little bit of warp to kind of place things. Okay, so now what I need to do is create the bottom of where this thing is sitting. Oh, I think I want one more row. Okay, hold on. Okay, duplicate. I'm going to merge these two together. And then flip that one horizontal. Go back to freeform. And we'll warp it. And we'll just kind of center them between other teeth here. There we go. Okay. Precious. Okay, so now we're going to want a texture for it all to sit on. I'm going to go ahead and merge those guys together. And I'm going to put this one beneath that layer. And I'm going to give it like we'll take one of our textures. I think I'll use this Monster 2 texture. No, I want something kind of fleshy. I'll use this brush here. I don't really have a name for it. I think it's one of my pore brushes for, doing pores on the skin. And then I'll probably smudge it with the, what is that other one? The zombie skin. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to create depth. It's darker on the inside than it is on the outside. So on this layer, we'll make this the darker layer. We'll keep it black. Let's see what we get. Okay, I don't see much of a texture there. Let's get a texture. Ooh, let's try the snakeskin texture. Let's see what that gives us. And we'll bring it down a bit. Ooh, it feels creepy. Yeah. I'll just kind of bring that down here. And you can't really make it out. So that's kind of cool too. So I'm just kind of gently tapping. And then I'm going to change the color of the brush to like maybe a gray. And I'm going to tap a little bit around here. And then I'm going to change that to an even brighter color, lighter gray. And I'm going to come around the front. Okay, now you can almost make out that this is the snake brush. Okay, and then I'm going to tap and let's get a different texture. We got lizard skin. I'm going to use a little bit of the lizard skin, and I'm going to kind of create a shadow, something like what the teeth are fitting into, like fitting into the gum. So I got lizard skin selected. I'm going to use black again, and I'm going to zoom in, and around the tooth, I'm going to kind of create a shadow. Just a bit. And then I'm going to come back again and create a highlight. Now I'm going to merge these teeth, that way I can really get in there. Okay, they look like they're merged already. Let's see, we'll merge this one together. Oops, let's do a few more here. And we want to give these guys this feeling that they are embedded into the gums. So I think what we'll do is we'll come around again with the liquify brush, and we'll kind of we'll push the tones down. Let's go ahead and throw a few highlights in there. And we'll make the brush just a little bigger. So like in the front here, we'll have a bit of those. Ooh, you know what? Let's use bubbles. Textures. It was underwater. And I want to use the bubbles. Maybe this one, because it looks kind of like, I want to give it kind of like a warty feel. See, I can't see them that well. It's kind of splotchy. Now, if you're watching and you've got some ideas, lay it on me. Like you think maybe she might have a tongue. I don't know where I'd put a tongue in all this. Let's see, but I'll definitely have to give it a distinction on where the face is open, and or I can leave it so where it's like a lamprey's mouth. But even a lamprey has like, you know, an outer ridge. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to kind of, and this is not a bad start. Go to that little wonder wand, whatever tool. I'm going to hit liquefy, and then I'm going to use push, and then I'm going to kind of push down. Ooh, or push up. Oh, now that's different. Pushing up. Let's see, I didn't merge. Let's see, let's be on that layer. Pushing up gives more variance to how it's fitting into the gum. This is not doing what I wanted to do. There we go, liquefy. There we go. Now we want to bring that gum down like we did on the top there. Okay, I'm on that layer. It's not moving. I'm going to merge these guys together. Oh, because it's not liquefying. There we go. That's what I want. Just kind of make it kind of like a soft gum. And then we're going to throw drool all over this. Okay, get this to give it some shape. For every tooth that is here, it's coming out of something. It's not just sitting there. And what's tragic is I can spend like 5-10 minutes, maybe an hour doing this, and people are only going to look at this for like a heartbeat. So I'd have to find some way of making them stay to look at it. Oh, we could put a little variance into each tooth too, just like a little bump here and there, so that things aren't as straight. You know, break up some of our. It'll break up some of our texture, so you really can't tell that this was a snake texture. Okay. The whole point is we need to keep the difference between light and dark. Okay, so now we're ready for that those outer spikes, because it's just not enough to have these spikes. We need one more layer of spikes. Or do we? Let's see. I'm going to duplicate this. And then, ooh, I like how darker it got. I like that. Let me merge that down. And then I'm going to do one more. And this one I'm going to make big. Ooh, I kind of like it going off to the side like that. Just a little. Ooh, you know what? Let's flip. Let's flip it horizontal. Now we're going to probably get rid of some of the teeth. We're only going to keep a handful. And then we're going to distort Let's use warp. And just kind of fit it along the jaw. Like a heart shape. There we go. Alright, so I want to do a little bit more. Let's see what distort will do. That's not too bad. It does look like a gaping hell. Okay, so I'm going to bring that about right here, and we'll warp it just a little bit because I want these bottom teeth to kind of overlap the teeth that are in the center. And then I want to duplicate this side. And then we'll flip that horizontal. And then we'll fit that over onto the other side. And just kind of follow the shape of that beak. Yeah, so we have a pretty little heart shape. It's like a lamprey. Let's see, we'll bring this down a little bit. We'll warp it. There we go. Only the best for our chicks here. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and erase just a little bit on that layer. And we got to do some drool. Oh, and we also should we should do something coming around the outside. You know, we need lips. Got to kiss with some of these lips here. Okay, so let's see. So some of the ways that you can create, let's see. I'm trying to think, how do I want to do this? Let's see, our ridges need a little bit more attention around the eyes. And I need to do a jaw. Now, another thing I'm thinking of is maybe the head is resting on the pillow a little bit. Maybe bring it down some. So let's see. We'll merge these layers together. There we go. And then we'll take this tone. Oops, we'll create one more layer, because we're going to have this one go over stuff. Let's see, but still stay underneath the hair. I'm going to sample, oops. We'll sample this tone here. And we'll change that to black. And we'll change that to zombie skin. I love zombie skin. Okay, so I'm going to make that. We're going to give it lips. And we'll give it a bit of a jaw. Nah, it can't really lay on the pillow because it's coming forward. So we're going to need some highlights in certain places. Let's see. Alright, so if zombie skin looks a little too dark, try putting in some white with the same texture. Make it a little bigger. We'll come in a little bit. One really good thing to do is to give yourself a defined border. So I'm going to go one more layer and we'll put that underneath. And then I'm going to kind of do a selection just to kind of give us more solid tone, because the brush is really transparent. And we'll bring that beneath. There we go. And then we'll use this one as the highlights. Let's throw some more highlights on there. Now this would really stand out if it was in color. That would be badass, but it is what it is. Okay. Next time we will be in color. Okay. Now if you want to keep your edges, you want to go ahead and go back to your layer and then just hit selection, and everything you do will stay within this, or you can do alpha lock, and then you can't go outside this on this layer. But if you do a selection, you can do a selection and then come up here. Who cares about alpha lock? Okay, we're still selected. We'll stay on this layer, and then we'll do, ooh, I don't want to erase. I want zombie skin, and I want it white because I want to define these edges here. So all the stuff that I'm doing is all going to stay within the selection. And I'm giving it various shades of white and gray. I can bring this up so I can really be bright. And just kind of giving it a shape of some sort. Now I see I've got like a shit ton of like wavy lines here. Let's see if we can do something with that. What layer are we on? Not that layer. Okay, it's on that layer. So we're going to go ahead and smooth some of this down, but we'll use a different texture brush. Yeah, we can keep zombie skin. You got to keep in mind that this is the hair layer, so I got to make sure I jump back out of it when I'm done. And we'll use that. It's on zombie skin. And right now it's smudging with the zombie skin. Now it appears that the guy is above our monster layer, or at least his lines are. So we'll bring him down. It's almost like it's being possessive. Okay, now I've got like some hard shadows inside the teeth, and I'm going to merge these guys real quick. Turn that off. I also wanted a little bit of hair, like going around his neck. So we have that going on. We got to have some drool. Now when we're tilted like this, it's going to come down this way. So let's go ahead and give ourselves a layer about Yeah, right above that. Let's see. Now, one of the ways that I like doing drool is I'm going to use the water brushes. Water drip is pretty good, but it's unpredictable. It falls wherever the hell it wants. Let's see. This one right, the water flicks are good for when it's roaring. So like if you want to like broadcast that stuff out. Let's see, and if I put water flicks down here, we got speckles. I'm going to give myself a lot. And then I'm going to bring down the liquefy. And it's good to have these speckles on its own layer. That way you can layer your drool. So I'm going to use that, liquefy, and then I'm just going to drag it down. And I'm going to make sure that it goes with the contours of the monster. So if you're going to drool, you're going to have to drool, you know, liquid finds its way, you know, with gravity. And we'll just kind of let it do its thing. And because it's liquid, it's going to be a little bit more transparent. So I'm going to come to this layer and drop the opacity a bit, just a little. So we got that going on. Let's see, we'll do a little bit more drool. And we'll merge that down. Create another layer. And you just want to be able to control what's going on. If you want to show drool on the teeth, you need to make sure that either that the layer that you're putting it on is darker than the drool, because the drool is going to be white, and if you have white on white, you're not going to see it very well. So like an example, let me see, we'll use a blotch. That's a little high. Blotch does the same thing. It just kind of is a blob, and it falls wherever the hell it wants. So this is really good for blood splatter. Okay, so again, I'm going to use the liquefy, and I'm going to push, and I'll vary the size of the push so it might move a little bit more. And I like to put it between teeth. Let's see if I can move it. Oops. Kind of squeeze it a bit. Because you don't want it to get confused with the teeth itself. So maybe a little bit hanging off of a tooth, and then we'll liquefy it. Whoops, that's not liquefy. And if it's too big, you can always erase. And we'll try it again. Oh, you can always color it too. Alright. I don't like that. Let me see. We'll get rid of this one. You can always control the drool by making a selection. Change the brush. You know what? Let me see. I want to try that soft brush. Whoops. Let me set. But yeah, so a few of these well placed. Selections. Now you don't want to do too much because you still want to keep the aspect of what's going on. Let's see, to give it more depth, I think it has a pretty good depth. I was going to add like a little bit of a shadow, so let's see. I'm going to create another layer, put it above, use black, and I'm going to fill in the areas where I think it needs a little bit more shadow. So like right there, maybe a little bit right here, and then I'm going to take that linear burn and then I'm going to drop the opacity just a bit, and then I'll merge that down and then do the same thing but with a highlight. So I want maybe the outer teeth here to be a little bit more well lit. Go back to white and then make sure I'm on a different layer. Yep. And then kind of brighten it and then drop the opacity just a little bit. And I think there's even another mode that you can use. This one I just use lighten. Some of these only work when you have a darker tone. And I just threw luminosity on there. So on this layer, whatever I touch is going to get lit up. So, and we'll put it at the very top. So if I need to, I can throw a little bit more highlight in. Maybe like right here. And I can always change my brush. And if it's not, this is it at max. And then, this is like more subtle. Okay. So if things get really super hard to see, that's another option. Okay. I'm going to merge that down because I need every layer I can manage. Okay, so we got our beautiful little face. Let's see, we could give it more of a juicy look. And to do that, what really works with a little juicier look is just having select highlights. Let me do that. You just have some really hard highlights in places. I have to really catch that light. And you want to hit the areas that are dark, because like I'm hitting some that are like really light and you don't really see the shine. Let's say that. And usually your highlight will be opposite your shadow. So I've got like a little shadow in this area. I want to put my highlight above that. I'll go even higher. And just vary the size of how much the light is hitting it. And it can't hurt to have a little bit of hollow drool. Vary your drool sizes and locations. And this is just the white. It's just my white and the soft brush that I'm using. And just kind of go with the texture. Even in between teeth. And even give it some, a little bit of juiciness, maybe up the brush size a bit. Because we kind of lose a bit of the gum. Oops, that's too much. All right, and then you can also make these teeth a little bit more prominent by giving it more of a shadow. So let's see where it would turn away from the light, or opposite of your highlights that you just added. And to keep the tooth looking roundish, you don't want to put it on the very edge all the time, maybe near the edge. Leave yourself like a little bit of a white edge or a lighter edge, and that will give your teeth a little bit more roundness. Now we don't want these teeth to be too perfect, so I'm going to probably add like maybe a little bit of a texture to it. Okay, so as long as we don't lose what's going on, we should be in good shape. Let me zoom out. So yeah, okay. Now the eyes need a little attention. The mouth gets a lot of attention because it's bright and it's in your face. Let's see if I can find some fun eyeballs. Let's see. Now, what I thought was interesting was the monster inside of the monster. So I could put that in the eyeballs, or like this, the fish with all the fish and the fish eggs, the daddy or mummy who's holding the fish eggs in its mouth. I could do that inside the eyeball, and that sounds like fun. So let's do that. I'm going to use a brush that has like a lot of circles in it. First I'm going to make a selection. We'll make another one. And then we'll just kind of add our circles in there. And we'll vary the color. And then we'll also vary the size. Bring that down just a bit. Make it really big. Just wanted to look a little crowded in there. Okay. We're going to switch the brush to back to soft brush, and then I'm going to give it like a highlight. And then we'll also give it a bit of a shadow and soften. Now we got the brow ridge coming out. We'll play off of that it's casting a bit of a shadow, like on this one as well. So we'll come underneath it and kind of make it stand out a bit. And we'll even vary that gray. And we just want to kind of give it the look that it's inside encapsulated. This usually works better when you have multiple layers. And then I'm going to come back in and we're going to give it some beady little eyes. Let's see what the splatter brush will do. And we'll bring it down really low. And we want to kind of, let's see, splatter brush didn't give me too much. Let's see. We'll use a different brush. We'll use the soft brush. Oops, we'll deselect real quick. Let's see what it looks like so far. Okay, well, for those of you who are just joining, hi, I'm Kim Pinkney, and I'm working on a monster. And I need to use the restroom, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick replay, so you can, if you weren't here yesterday, you can see where we are thus far, or how we got here. There we go. Bit of a replay. Yeah, she looks gorgeous. It almost goes to the music. Now, even at this point, it's still kind of icky and scary, and I could have left it at that point, but no. Oh no, we have to add a little bit more, because I just don't know when to stop. So I'm not sure how much. Okay. Yeah, so if I do what I want to do on these eyes, it's not going to show. Okay, so what I was thinking of doing, I'm going to give each one of these a little bit of texture because they are individual round balls inside. And they're transparent of each other. It's funny, working on this project, I'm a little bit more conscious of my nightmares. It's like, ooh, I just had a nightmare. My nightmares are stupid though. Yeah, for a while, my nightmares consisted of like I was in the Navy, and then I spend the entire dream trying to find something that's missing off of my uniform before inspection. There we go. There's our beautiful eyes. And to just add a little bit to it, we'll come back to the soft brush and we'll, for every eye, we'll give it like maybe its own little eye. We'll give it, let's see, not that brush, soft brush. And then I want to give it like a little bit of shape inside, like it's got a little polywog or something inside of it. So it's got like a baby inside of it. We'll just do eyes on this one. And then each one of those should have its own little highlight. Okay, that's enough of that. Tell me more about my eyes. Okay, and then let's see, we've got some shadow in it. Let me make sure that this is making sense. There we go. And just so that it looks like it's more glossy, throw a little bit of white opposite the shadow there. Okay, and to give it a little depth, let's see, we'll use that splatter one more time, and then we'll just kind of use a little bit of the black and just kind of soften. We'll add like a little bit of darkness in between a couple of these so that they pop out a little bit more. Okay, delightfully creepy. Let's see, it needs a little bit of shadow in between a couple of these just to distinguish them. There we go. That makes them stand out a little bit more. Okay. So let's see if we can get some skin going here. Now I was thinking about giving her boobs, but her hand is going to be in the way there. I also wanted the monster to kind of grip the bed. So I'm thinking that this hand should extend beyond the borders that we've got thus far. Let's see. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to come to this layer here and see if I can distort it. Let's see. So maybe a bit of the shadow here. I kind of like that angle. So it's almost like, and she's still forming. So I think the thing that should form, I guess, to be more of a form is this hand. I'm going to take it off of this layer. I'm trying to decide, do I want to keep that shadow over him? I think it should be more pronounced, but we'll work on that later. Okay, let's see, hand. Okay, so for a claw, I can make things easy on myself and have like maybe a 3-claw thing. Ooh, I kind of see a claw that I like. Let's see. Okay, so we'll have on a different layer. That way I can move it if I think it's in the way. I'm going to merge this down with this. I'm not going to merge the hair yet, in case I change my mind, because I'm fickle like that. Merge down. Okay, so on a new layer, and we'll have it above everything. The hand that I'm kind of thinking of is going to, and I'm going to use black. Let's see, let's use the zombie skin. And we'll get the overall shape here. It's going to have 3 claws, and then another one that's right above everything. So it's like a protruding claw. I'm trying to decide. Let me try a different angle. So maybe here's the palm of it. We got that one. We'll have that one. And then we have this one. And then we'll have another one underneath. This will be, okay, let's see, we'll use gray. So Here's one talon, two talons, three talons, and then this one will be the fourth talon. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and outline it a little bit. That way, this fourth talon, I'm going to have that kind of like impale itself onto her back, and the other two can grip. It's like if you're going to be a nightmare, you may as well be the best nightmare you could possibly be. Now I'm thinking that I'm still working on my inspiration of who's going to be my lady victim. But I have it kind of narrowed down. I kind of like how the monster is different for every person, your own personal demon, because we don't all have the same nightmares, not unless you're sleeping in the same room as Derek, but even then everybody should have their own. Now I'm not so concerned about the edges, like right here where it's kind of outside my lines, because she is still forming. So what I can do is I can take the clouds and kind of, you know, she's still forming. So maybe coming around an edge. One claw not quite formed yet. And we'll even give it like a little bit of a phallic-y feel to it. Okay, so we're gonna need some highlights to kind of make it stand out a bit. Okay, so for the, I think for the talons, I'm going to use more of a wood texture to kind of give it like striations. Let's see. Crap, it's almost time to go. God, dandruff. All right. It's under textures. Oops, no. Now these right here are all textures from Procreate, all the way up to here, where it's at tessellated. That's where theirs ends and mine begin. So I've got rose and lace. Ooh, scales is nice, but I'm trying to get the striations in, and it's called wood grain, or do I want to use my other wood? This one has, Procreate comes with one wood texture, and it looks like wooden planks type of texture. Come on, wood one, where art thou? Did I pass it? Going too fast. Wavy. Shiny. Oh, wood 3. Duh. Don't know my own wood. Okay, let's see. It looks like it's selected. Let's go ahead and use white. And then we'll look at black. We got the wood. And in order to see that texture, that's not bad. And we'll use a little bit of white. And we'll just kind of give it like bumps and ridges. And by doing that, you just kind of emphasize some of the shadow and some of the light. Bring that back to white. Bring back the shadow. Make that smaller and just kind of crap, it's time to go. Shite. Okay. There we go. Now if you do have the shadow like all the way to the edge like that, make sure you have a highlight on a bend somewhere, and then have a corresponding shadow opposite that light. So here's my light here, this is my shadow here, and then it starts to get lighter but not white when you get to the other side, and then you have a nice claw. Let's do it with this one. Oops. Let's select it so we don't go outside the line too much. We'll fill it with white. Now for giggles, I didn't, I'm not going to get rid of that. That's already there. It kind of respects that there's something there. So I'm going to have it do the same thing as we did on the first claw. I'm going to have it dark on an edge. And then I'm going to let the light hit it. And I'm going to use some of this, what's already here, as kind of like a texture. And then I'm going to come back again with the dark. I'm going to come close to the edge once and then play it up, the light and whatnot here. We want to give it that idea that it's curved. You can even break up your highlight a little bit if you need to. And then we'll come to the next one. It will do something similar to that as well. But because it's close to, well actually it's not going to be close to her. This one I'm going to make bigger than the head. I'm going to have it come off of the panel. But I'll have to do that another time. Shite. Okay, we fill this one with white. And what's here already looks pretty gosh darn good, but to be consistent, we're going to have the light once, hit it there once, and then just kind of fill this in. We can have a little bit of white here, maybe to catch a little bit of extra light. And then we'll just kind of come in towards the center of the claw here. And then we'll just kind of blend and smudge. We want some really good highlights on here. And that gives us that illusion of roundness. And I want it as dark as that claw, so I'm going to darken it up a little bit more. There we go. And drop that. So if it looks a little rough, we can always add a little bit of the edge around. Now, even though it's forming, it still has a bit of shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it some highlights, because I want to do the same thing. You want to do the sphere thing, and maybe I'll do a tutorial on that. I don't know. But we want to give ourselves, wherever the highlight hits, it's going to have a corresponding darkness. If it's round, it's going to come back towards light, reflective light. There's a ton of videos on that already, but incorporating it, people rarely show you incorporating it. Or show themselves incorporating it. They'll show it like on a sphere, but not in something practical like like a monster claw. All right. But imagine any of those sphere videos, and then you can do exactly what I'm doing here. Okay, I want to use my zombie skin, but I want it to kind of highlight a bit. I don't want it to be white, just enough to kind of show its texture. And this shit is going to be coming right at you. I should have had this claw be more forward. That's okay. Okay, I gotta get going. You guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you like what you see, like and subscribe. And we'll see if we can finish this monster up and move on to grabbing our victim while she's heading for the door. Yeah, we gotta make that same claw appear here and here. All right, take care, you guys. I'll see you when they free you. Oh, and be sure to check out the comic. It is live on Webtoons. The link is in the description. And if you do catch it, drop me a line that you saw it here first, if this is where you saw it here first, and on the webcomic itself. It's called Nocturnal Emissions, and you can do a search under that, or you can hit my link that's in the description. You guys have a great one. Bye-bye.